Hello, we're at AEC in Antwerp, and today I brought Moshe with me. He's a special guest to me. Moshe, maybe you want to say something about you?
Yeah, sure. My name is Moshe Nachman. I'm originally from Israel, and I started working at AEC just a tad over a year ago. We are a global mobility solutions provider. We are passionate. We're so passionate about doing things better at the company.
We met over a year ago. Let's go back a bit in time and talk about what was happening back then, what problems you had at AEC, and what were you looking for to overcome those problems?
Well, I think before we actually started doing the SAP project, we first started mapping out the business processes. And I recognized a problem with the lack of automatization, and most of the users or the people who were working, especially for the logistic part, were doing manual processes. We had to eliminate that. We had to eliminate that because we had to allow users to focus more on their jobs and less on manual activities. And I think that was the basis of everything, that was in the basis of what everything we were trying to achieve. Everything we did afterwards was actually based on that, and we started then designing the project and the implementation and the processes that followed the implementation.
AEC is a global company. Can you explain how the cloud helped AEC?
Well, yes, I think I can relate to that. We are a global company because we don't only have an office in one place. We are a global company, and we have offices in Canada, in Munich, and also here in Antwerp. I think the cloud enables us to remain very flexible because we can work remotely. We don't have to engage into hiring IT teams and infrastructure and equipment, which is not necessary for the cloud services because you can always log in and work. And for people, especially for end users, it's a very straightforward solution and a very obvious solution when they work with the system. So I think that this is something that's the main benefit with working with a cloud in such a company.
Can you explain a bit how you worked together with your logistic provider before we started with SAP?
Well, most of the processes were extremely manual. I don't think anybody had real-time information about what, even a small thing like making a stock inquiry or knowing how much pieces we had for an item. And people always had to wait for answers. And now, with just a click of a mouse, you get the information and much more than that. So I think that I think the most important thing that we were able to achieve is the data, the accessibility to data, which didn't exist.
Yes, but not just on your side, also on your logistics provider side, because we sent them notifications. So we warn them in advance that goods are going to be received, right?
Exactly. That way they can prepare themselves. They can tell us in advance if they have storage space. They can give us notifications or alerts ahead of time, and we can also make wise business decisions and make sure that our logistics is prepared. And of course, for the users, is also beneficial, and also for our customers.
And vice versa. On the way back, we also imported item master data, which now allows us more insights into your cost structure, right?
Yeah, of course. The data that we get is used to produce to create other objects in SAP, especially follow-on documents. And we use the item master data that we get from our logistics provider.
Volumes and weights.
Volumes and weights, for example, is something that is really straightforward. We can use that to calculate, for example, delivery costs or freight costs based on the true dimensions and weights of the parts. So this allows the customer to know in advance how much he or she are going to pay for the delivery. There's no surprises. It's very straightforward. It's on the quotation. It's on the sales document. And I think that for now, it's a huge transparency for our customers too.
Mm-hmm. We're currently in the process to implement the BigCommerce webshop. It's not completed yet. but we're in a good way. What is your expectation about the web shop integration?
Well, I think that we were evaluated throughout the project of SAP until we got to the web shop. So we were much more experienced now in terms of integrating. Even now, I mean, the web shop was a new web shop even for you, because you never did the big commerce.
True,
so now we
yes.
have it.
Yes.
Now we have it. So we learned new things. And I think that the expectation is that our customers, they don't, for them, SAP needs to be a black box. They need to drop an order, and they need to know that something is happening in the background, and they will get what they want at the end of the day. And they don't need to know what's happening in between. They don't need to worry about allocations. They don't need to worry about statuses. They don't need to worry about messaging and EDI frameworks. They just drop an order, and they get a quotation, they get a price, they get an invoice, and they get the part at the end.
Yes, and we also automated these processes, like how we talk to the end customer, that this interaction is based on mailing. That means we generate corresponding documents, attach them to a mail, and send them out, right? So
Exactly.
you're closer to your customer.
Exactly. And I think this is a very out-of-the-box thinking, because even SAP doesn't have out-of-the-box solutions for everything. So I think in this case, the Azure environment, the Azure logic, were able to assist us in creating these add-on apps that could further do the customer relations management, and then the customer knows in advance how much he's going to pay. It even further helps us with the financial part, because when a customer gets the invoice, he can pay it, and then they can further on use those emailing services to do other processes like dunning and other financial processes. So I'm really happy about the way we were able to communicate with the customers through SAP.
And we're also expecting future work here. So looking towards the near future, we're getting more tools from SAP that allows us to further integrate into M365. And together with the back-end structure of Azure Cloud, we can facilitate services like logic apps to further automate these processes. And we are also expecting an integration into Microsoft Power Services and Power BI that would even give you more leverage to understand your data and further integrate the processes together with your customer.
Yeah, true. Especially with the next release that we already know. I think every company today uses Outlook and Excel and Teams. And I think that the fact that SAP decided to take such a strategic decision and put it embedded, integrated into the system is a huge step, because it enables users to do things in a very straightforward way and integrate other business logics like tasks, like activities, so we can help the users to further be more productive. And the M365 environment is really good.
Moshe Nachman, thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the invitation for me being here in Antwerp today.
Thank you very much, Roman, yourself. I mean, we really value the partnership, and we're welcoming you here and SAP at every given moment. So we thank you back for all the hard work you've given and you've put into this.